Hey, kid. Nice ride. Can you race it? We'll see about that. Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland, Season 9, Episode 5. Christine, I'm your co-host Denali.
I'm your co-host, Ryan.
It's me, Jace. Jace is holding a dangerous weapon right now. Jace, take it easy, man. Take it
Chill out, man. That's my lunch, man.
It's my lunch. They're gonna do a scene.
What are you talking about, man? My mom made that.
I'm like this because I don't have a positive family structure at home. Hey, I'm a teacher. I'm coming in here. Hey, you got a knife, kid? No. Oh, come here, you kid. I'm gonna start strangling you for some reason because it's the 80s.
We're now just reenacting.
That was good, guys. That was a good
entire scene from the movie.
And scene, we have a guest today. Guess, what did you think of that scene? Just seeing it reenacted live.
I thought it was great. I thought it was better than the movie somehow. But they didn't end the scene by saying "I'll fix you" really loud and then slapping a door.
Oh yeah. Any notes for us individually? Any notes for me about like how good I did, how well it was executed?
Oh yes, I think you did the best actually.
Thank you. Excellent. Yeah. That's what I needed, folks. I like this guest.
I needed more knife work from Jace. Otherwise, he would have had it, I think.
Oh, shit. More knife work. Yeah, we'll release the video version of this episode in a couple of weeks so people can see the knife work. Guest, what is your name, Guest? Identify yourself.
My name is Guest. Guest 37.
Whoa,
my name's Trevor. How's it going?
Hi, Trevor. It's great to have you. Trevor, you are actually loosely related to, related to a guest that we had before. You are the brother-in-law of Ryan Ball, who is not this Ryan on the show. You folks, listen to Geostorm if you want to.
I'm Ryan Two-Ball.
Hear the other Ryan. But Trevor, we're so glad to have you. We were talking a little off mic. Like, are you familiar with our show? How big of a fan are you? What's your?
I'm the biggest fan, obviously. The number one fan.
Yeah,
you might have to fight Kaimi for that.
Yeah.
So
I'll fight to the death.
In retrospect, I should not have coached you to say that.
Is there I always like to ask fans of the show, is there like a season you'd like to see? Like, is there like a movie you'd like us to ever review? Some people are like, oh, I want them to review like UFO movies or movies with Adam Sandler. Like, is there a season you'd like us to do? Or, I mean, we could have you on for any of these movies too.
I mean, my first thought, my immediate thought was the movie Shoot 'Em Up with Clive Owen. And I just want to hear you guys talk about it.
Oh my God, I forgot about that movie. He sticks a carrot in a gun and it shoots around the room, right? Wasn't that a whole scene?
There's a lot of carrot play involved in the first 10 minutes. Every scene's amazing. It's just a great movie.
I think doing a Clive Owen season would be on brand for Good Boys Gone Bland. It's like an actor where you're like, a Clive Owen marathon? Oh, cool, I guess.
There's enough of a pool to have some variety, too.
Yeah, Children of Men. I can't think of another Clive Owen movie.
I don't know who Clive Owen is.
He's
a great actor right now. He's a great actor.
We had knockoff Clive Owen last week in Gone in 60 Seconds with Vinnie Jones.
Which one was Vinnie Jones?
The guy who looks like Clive Owen. The guy who didn't talk.
But who's Clive Owen?
Oh, wait, he does look like Clive Owen. Great. Well, Trevor, you stumbled on the car season. Right now, I think we only have like an episode out at the moment. So you're at a bit of a disadvantage. Jace, Ryan, and I are kind of 5 movies in to this like car marathon. But I kind of wanted to get your...
Car marathon, yes.
Car race.
Great analogy.
I wanted to get your barometer, a carometer, about cars. Like, do you like cars? Do you own a car? Have you driven one?
I drive one extensively for work, yes.
Okay.
I like my car.
What kind of ride you riding?
Oh, right now it's a 2022 Honda Accord.
Boring.
Hybrid. Because I drive a lot and I don't want to pay for gas so often.
No, that's great.
Yeah, it's fine.
My first car, though, was a 92 Subaru Wagon. It's my favorite car of all time.
That's awesome. Have you seen any car movies, Trevor? Like, are you familiar kind of with the car genre? Like, what do you think about car movies, or like what makes them car movies? Like, do you like seeing movies where people are driving around and racing?
So I didn't even realize that it was a genre before this, to be honest.
We didn't either. Yeah.
I think my first big car movie was my dad was a huge fan of Death Race 2000, like the original one.
Oh, yeah.
And he showed that to me, and that was a wild ride. And then also, what was the other one? Was it Rat Race? The original Rat Race?
Rat Race. Are they in cars?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they are. But yeah, I didn't even know it was genre. So this is kind of exciting for me. I'm not very knowledgeable on cars at all. But this is it's kind of fun stepping into a realm I'm not super familiar with.
I think if cars, they go forwards, sometimes backwards.
Sometimes.
And there's a button you can press that has a little red cap on it. You have to flip up, and that makes the car go super fast.
Everybody has one.
Those are the only two things you need to know about cars to go into car movie season. So we're good.
Are James Bond movies considered car movies?
I would say those are. This is the discussion we had. So, Jace pitched movies with cars.
That's totally
with
different.
Memorable cars.
And it landed on car movies instead. So we're gonna try to draw a distinction between car movies and movies with like memorable cars. So James Bond, like the Aston Martins, would definitely be memorable cars. But there are maybe some more than others because of like the scenes with Q. But for me, a car movie is one that appeals to a certain type of person. And James Bond is not that person. This is like a gearhead.
Too British.
Kind of like masculine guy who's like, you can prove your worth behind the wheel. And
sounds like the guy from The Art of Racing in the Rain.
Oh, God. that was a car guy. That was totally a car guy, but that was a car guy movie, not a car movie.
We're talking about a stereotype because you don't have to be masculine to like cars. Anybody can like cars.
This
but
is
these
a stereotype.
Movies are trying to just kind of appeal to that, and we're trying to explore how do these movies appeal to car culture, like what are they perpetuating and what is it like to just watch a bunch of these in a row? Like, is it going to go bland?
Is it going to affect us?
Is it going to affect us?
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I have a YouTube channel I like called Donut, and they do car stuff. This like kind of entry level, kind of fun pop car stuff. And I have found myself all day, well into the night, watching the car content again. And I find myself on Auto Trader just about every other day. I don't know why. And the only explanation I have is all these car movies.
It's slowly taking over our minds. I'll tell you, I don't want to spoil like this movie review yet, but like after watching this movie, I think the final key like went into place in my brain where I was driving my car and I was like, yeah, I'm in a car. Like this feels good.
You two are getting got milked by car movies.
I'm getting got card,
yeah.
dog. But we are a marathon podcast that reviews 10 movies of a similar actor or subject. That's our whole deal. We'll review them until they're bland. Okay.
If
they
we'll
go
see
bland.
We'll see if they become bland.
So this movie, no spoilers, features an evil car. I think people know this. It's on the cover. All right, this car is evil. It's evil as shit. It regenerates itself. That was in the trailers. No spoilers. But it's coming after people. Okay.
That was a spoiler for me. I didn't watch the trailer.
Nobody who watches the Trevor. Do you watch trailers? Do you watch movie trailers?
I never watch trailers.
You do?
Do you watch them before you watch a movie that's like old?
When else are you gonna?
You know what? I'll take that back because I do a bad movie night thing like once a month with some family members, and we definitely watch trailers to pick out which movie we're gonna watch. So I'll grant that. Yeah.
Okay, we're 2v2.
Denali's right. But like, it got me thinking about evil cars. All right, they had to defeat an evil car. I was wondering if we can defeat an evil car better. Like, how would we approach this problem? Because we are like one of the most advanced think tanks, I think, in the world. We've created amazing solutions to like a lot of interplanetary problems. I feel like we can crack this one. No spoilers, better than they did it in this movie.
I'd Wile E. Coyote it because I think the car's stupid, and I'd paint a big tunnel behind me, and then it'd be like,
Where would you go?
You would dress up as a sexy car and kind of try to entice it towards you so it slams into a cliff?
No, I think I'd just dress up as me. It seems like it's pretty willing
Where would you be, though? Like, where would you go when the car was coming at you?
Well,
jump out of the way.
It's left or right. It's until the invention of drifting as we now know historically, Tokyo drift.
Christine could drift. We had our drifting scene.
We had a sliding scene.
Yeah, I don't think Christine doesn't have an e-brake. I also like trick it, Jace, because like you could like maybe leave a GPS in there, like your iPhone, and then make it go off a cliff or something, or like into a volcano.
I'm thinking ice.
Ice?
Go on a frozen lake.
Okay.
You're just delaying the problem. We just got done talking about Michael Myers.
It would go down into the bottom of the lake.
Let him cook.
Yeah, sorry.
And then it'd be stuck. And then they'd have to wait until a group of co-eds was going on a end of the year trip to New York City in a boat and was dragging an anchor and then accidentally resurrected it. And then the car would climb up the anchor chain and start killing all the co-eds.
I'd watch that sequel.
Christine Takes Manhattan.
So it would go to a thin area of ice because Christine can't tell how thick ice is.
But we are not heavy enough to break it.
Okay, smart. I like it. I was also thinking maybe get the U.S. military involved. I'm sure they'll be real interested in a vehicle that can regenerate itself.
No way, dude. No way. It's a terrible idea. The amount of like butterfly effect that would have.
What? More evil vehicles?
Giving the military like sentient tanks. This is the Emily Elizabeth conundrum all over again. You can't tell the government about Clifford.
Trevor, we have a bit where we believe that the U.S. military, if she knew that Elizabeth's love from Clifford could make things grow to 50 times their normal size, they would capture her, put her in a room, and
love this tank.
Make her love military equipment to increase its size.
I feel like that would definitely happen. Absolutely, yeah.
I feel like they would put just Christine in a room and they would just try to like replicate this and make more cars evil. I don't think they'd do anything. I feel like they would contain it.
No way, dude. They would start killing people in cars.
What
They'd probably unleash it on a political rival country. Just drop it in there. Like, all right, go wild, have fun.
We have to topple the government of this nation. We're gonna send one car in. Maybe we can convert Christine to a religion that she feels no longer the need to kill. Maybe if we showed her the light of God, maybe she'll no longer feel like she needs to run people over.
Have you seen Arnie's parents, dude? She was already exposed to fundamentalist Christians.
You think so?
Maybe if you like read the Bible in the car.
She just starts thrashing.
No!
Well, and did you guys look at any of the taglines for this movie that were like on movie posters?
Hold on, can we guess?
Yeah, please.
This is gonna drive you nuts. Did anyone go nuts? I think Arnie kind of went nuts.
Yeah.
Suck a tailpipe.
Dude. That's so aggressive.
She's back and she's hungry for gas.
That's
good.
That. That's good.
I like
Ryan.
that.
I like she's back.
It was the 70s. A killer car. That they were simple back then. You know?
Lead poisoning.
So
what are the lines?
They have quite a few, but I'll just tell you my favorite one. It's the one. It's short and sweet. It's body by Plymouth, soul by Satan.
That's fucking good.
That
it's
slaps.
solid.
Huh.
But
this
they have
Stephen
one that's
King
like a
guy
whole.
should write a book.
They have one that's a whole ass paragraph.
Okay.
Also, a lot of one-liners, but anyway.
What's the other taglines?
Oh, geez. Okay, you want me to run through them?
Run through them.
All right. She'll possess you, then destroy you. She's death on wheels. She's Christine. Once she lures you behind her wheel, you're all hers. Seductive, passionate, possessive. Say hello to Christine, your girlfriend, the car.
What the fuck?
Wow, they came right out and said it.
You Stephen King was on such a hot streak at this point. They're making him into movies. Like, they're grabbing him right off the presses. When you read, like, the people who are producing this movie, all of them were like, killer car, stupid. They read the manuscript. They're like, this is amazing. Let's fucking make this. What were you going to say, Jace?
Does, insofar as us, I don't know if we've watched a Stephen King movie before, The Tower.
Yeah, we have.
The Dark
That was
Tower.
great.
That shit almost ended us. And,
yeah.
Does he take any? Does anyone know if he takes any
liberties? This was a true story. I think this was all told completely truthfully.
When he sells the rights to his books, does he participate in the filmmaking process at all in some of them, or does he just take a fat bag of cash and be like, yeah, you can make whatever you want?
I think notoriously he doesn't have control because he's often upset at what they do. This was, I think, the case with The Shining. like the end product was a lot different than the book.
Yeah.
So there's some that he has control over, but generally, like, a studio won't agree to budget something if somebody else has control over it. That's just the way. It's more of like the studio's insistence than his.
Yeah, and Steven's all about the money, baby. That's why they call him Stephen King, all right? Just likes to fucking get that bag and get out, all right? And he has 52 movies out there, all right? Which is one of my seasons, one of my pet projects. I would love to have a Stephen King season.
Trevor,
Jason,
are you familiar with the Deli Dudes?
You say Deli Dudes?
Yeah.
I am not familiar with the Deli Dudes.
Shit, okay, that might take a little bit too much time.
That's gonna be. I don't think we have the time. I think we should get into the movie.
But the Deli Dudes delivery car, could feasibly have
could repair itself.
Christine's powers.
I'm so excited to learn about this.
The Deli Dudes.
Oh, here we go.
Our third-rate
Avengers
superheroes
cast
that are based out of some sort of like special deli, and all their superpowers are like helpful to running the deli, but also fighting crime.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
so like.
We can leave it at that, you know.
Let's maybe leave it at that. There's a guy who can make lettuce as armor, and a guy who shoots slime out of his eyes. That's done. It's done. Okay. This movie, Christine. We watched it this week. The cat's out of the bag. All right. 1983 Stephen King movie. John Carpenter directed. All right. I picked this movie because I thought it looked sick. I've always wanted to watch it, and this was a great opportunity to do so. I'll run through the synopsis before we kind of get into the discussion. I do have like a little box office game, like we always do. But basically, Christine, oh boy, it's about a boy who's a nerd. He's a nerd, guys. That's you know about nerds. He's got glasses. Doesn't have a girlfriend. He's bummed out, and he has a jock friend who's cool, who's surprisingly nice. Like they seem like they have a good friendship. And then the nerd one day sees this old beaten up car. I believe it's a 58 Plymouth Fury on the side of the road. He buys it. But guess what? Record scratch. This car's evil as shit, guys. All right. It's like possessed by the devil or something. And it made its previous owner go insane. And this kid, as he's driving it, he's slowly becoming cooler. All right. His clothes are looking great. All of a sudden, whoa, this kid's kind of hot now. Like, things are going awesome. But there's murder. There's people are dying. The car's killing people. He's starting to act a little toxic towards his parents and his girlfriend. It's not cool. So it's up to his jock friend and his new girlfriend to maybe kill this car. But record scratch again, this car's so fucking evil it regenerates itself, and they have to kill it with a bulldozer. That's kind of like a lot of the movie right there. But hijinks ensue along the way. This movie, when it came out, it was a moderate hit. I think it was kind of like a cult hit. I think it was a bit of a sleeper. It kind of rose up over time. This is coming right after John Carpenter's The Thing, which I think also was like a failure. So he's kind of like, oh shit, I don't know if this movie thing's gonna work out. But it opened December 9th, 1983 at number 4. Okay. I'm gonna give you some hints for this one because I don't think you guys know this movie. Number 1 in the box office, okay?
In 1983.
1983.
What season?
What season?
Yeah, what season of the year?
December. That's winter traditionally.
Oh, Christmas movie.
But not for long. And I'll give you a hint, it's not Star Wars, okay? I'll just say that right off the bat. Directed by Clint Eastwood, stars Clint Eastwood.
The 83?
83.
Is it a Western?
What? It's not a Western, but it's got shooting in it.
Dirty Harry?
Yes. which one?
It's a Dirty Harry sequel, so 2?
Yes,
I don't know.
They don't call him Dirty Harry, man. They call it another name. Okay, I'll give you a hint about what it's called. Okay, there's a movie where an asteroid is about to hit Earth. It came out in the 90s.
That's not what Dirty Harry's about.
I know. What's the name of this movie?
Armageddon?
Yeah. What's the companion piece? Trevor, you can feel free to jump in.
Deep Impact?
Okay, Deep Impact. Right. It's like Deep Impact.
Dirty Harry's Deep Impact?
No, it's not.
Dirty Harry Gran Torino, the prequel.
It's that. Congratulations.
Also a car movie.
When something happens, when something happens that is very surprising. It's called Sudden Impact. Jesus Christ. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. Sudden Impact.
I think I've heard of Sudden Impact.
Sudden Impact. It's a Dirty Harry sequel. Okay.
Number 2. I thought you were trying to imply that Dirty Harry was not the name of the movie.
It's not. It's called Sudden Impact. It has
Well, I
Dirty
know,
Harry
but
in
I
it.
thought you were trying to gaslight me into saying the original wasn't called Dirty Harry. It was called something like Deep Impact.
No, I think the original is Dirty Harry.
Yeah.
Okay, number 2 in the box office. This is a more well-known movie that you guys have heard of, okay? It is a gangster movie.
The Untouchables.
Why was that your first gangster movie in your head? No, it's not.
Goodfellas.
It's not Goodfellas.
It's probably a little too late. Godfather Part 2.
Not Godfather Part 2. If I reveal the cast, it would immediately give it away.
Is Joe Pesci in it?
No, Joe Pesci's not in it. It's got Michelle Pfeiffer in it.
Catwoman.
It is Catwoman. Okay, there's cocaine in it. Some might say the most in any movie.
Scarface.
Scarface.
It's Scarface.
Wow.
Trevor got it.
Nice.
1 point, Trevor. You're in the lead. Okay, this is the last one, okay? Unless someone ties it. Number 6 in the box office this week. I skipped a couple because some of these movies, I just don't even know what these are. This is a Christmas movie.
Home Alone.
It's 1983.
Home Alone, the prequel.
They came out with a
Released
prequel
The
first.
first one. Just wait till you see.
This is called Home with the Family.
They're going to leave in the next one.
Surviving Christmas.
It's not Surviving Christmas. It's a Christmas movie
that's a good
so
movie. I want to
famous,
watch that movie
okay?
again.
This is like done as a play every year.
The Nutcracker.
There's a guy who hates
the hold on, Christmas Carol.
Christmas. It's
the
not a Christmas
Mr.
Carol.
Scrooge.
You're close.
3 Nights of the Ghosts.
Yes. What would that movie be called?
The
That's
Nutcracker.
Christmas Carol.
I don't know.
Oh wait, no, it's not a Christmas Carol. It's when you're reading a book, you might say it's a
Bussin'.
Banger.
it's bussin'. Yep, a Christmas bussin'. That's what the movie is in 1983.
It would be a bussin' Christmas. Thank you. But
a Christmas bussin'.
Continue with the clues. I don't
Jesus
understand.
Christ, guys! It's like pulling
it's a
teeth.
Christmas
It's
story,
too-
right?
Yeah, it's a Christmas story. Thank you, Trevor. You got 2 points. All right. You fucking demolished these 2 idiots.
wow. You're asking
You just holded that in the back pocket. It's like, when do I play it? When do I play this card?
You know,
I already knew this movie.
we
After they say bussin'.
probably only watched
Okay.
maybe 2 or 3 movies in the entirety of our, I think, will this be episode 100?
This is like episode 110. We've blew past 100. I didn't even realize until I counted them.
I thought you all just released episode like 96.
I was counting the ones we released. We're like at 102.
Oh.
Sorry, kid. I forgot your birthday again this year.
Because we're counting bonus and stay the podcast, yes. But this is movie number 95 for our traditional format.
Doesn't count.
Got
Great.
it.
Thanks, Ryan.
I was
Great.
beyond that. I think we've only like watched 3 movies that were made before 1993, before essentially we were born. So
Yeah.
asking me about movies that are from the 80s, I'm like, what in the fuck are you talking about?
Well, now you know. That's because movies sucked before 1990. It's too old.
Pre-Terminator.
Nobody cares.
Yeah. Preachy too.
Okay, let's get into the movie here. We've never seen this, right? Like, I want to get a temperature. Like, have you guys heard of this movie? Have you guys seen it?
I have heard of it in the same breath as like Cujo.
Right.
Which I
about
haven't
the same
seen either.
time.
I never-
Jace, have you
never-
heard? Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Trevor?
I never heard of it or seen it personally.
It was a cold watch. Jace, have you seen this? Already?
Nada.
Great. I kind of wanted to break into this cold because the opening shot in here, it's a car revving. You're already doing good here for a car movie. They're playing Bad to the Bone. They're building it in the factory.
Yeah, Julie was like really excited when that came on. I have
Bad
no
to the
idea
Bone.
why. She's like George Thorogood, but like was kind of. She's like, oh yeah, all right. I was like, what the fuck? You never played this song, or like
There's like a certain brand of boomer that gets way too excited when they hear Bad to the Bone.
like Julie.
But in this scene, it kind of works because it's like, from the day I was born, and then the car is being built, which I think is kind of sick.
The way they shot that as well,
Yeah.
I thought was really cool, and probably now would be derivative, but in '83, that's pretty killer.
Yeah. I liked how Christine is the only red car in the whole line, too. They're all white cars, and she rolls up, and you're immediately like, that one's evil. That's the evil one. And the first thing Christine does, like, a guy puts his hand, like, the hood is open. He puts his hand on the thing, and you're like, his hand's gonna get crushed. And the car just goes, it falls on his hand. He's like, ah! Like, I don't know. Would that hurt your hand enough? I've never had that happen.
The hood falling on your hand?
Back then, full steel construction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that pretty heavy?
You lose it.
Okay.
Well,
Nowadays-
this handle's right where it locks into place too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nowadays
God.
they have bumpers and everything like that because that was such a serious problem. And like I still had like when I was growing up, we always put blocks under the hood, under the hinge.
Oh, God. Okay.
Because to stop that from happening.
Well, it got me wondering because they kind of inserted this scene into the movie. It's different from the books, the origin story. I thought there would be a scene where like someone's mean to the car and that's why the car is evil. But literally, they put the last screw in the car, and the first thing the car does is a killing. Like there is no delay, and I don't know. Does that kind of make it better that you just don't know why it's so gosh darn evil?
In my opinion, as maybe like the horror guy, yeah. The horror movies falter when they, at the end, when they try to apply logic and they try to make you see what was really happening. And for Friday the 13th, you know, when they get to number 6 or 7 and they have to explain why Jason's back, you're kind of just like, yeah, just get to the slashing.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's a lot more efficient to do it this way. And it makes sense that John Carpenter made that change because he was really on the cutting edge when he made Halloween and just decided to make this kid evil. The kid is just evil from the beginning. Yeah. There's nothing that makes Michael Myers evil. He just is evil. And that was like, what the hell? We got a 5-year-old murdering people. For this is like the car version of that. The car just pops off the lot evil. And I really appreciated that. And I was kind of taken by surprise because, I mean, Stephen King usually has these whole long diatribes about floating giant turtles in space about why things are evil. And this was kind of refreshing.
Yeah, I agree, Ryan. Like, I think in the book, this was supposed to be like the ghost of the previous owner, who had like passed away in the car and was so evil. But I like this approach. You cut forward like 20 years in 1978. Jace?
I wanted to say something about the previous topic, about that opening scene. Please. I think something that is really benefiting from the dadcore nature, the kind of car-y nature of this entire season is that like vehicle manufacturing in and of itself, especially like Plymouth, Dodge, Chrysler, is like classic Americana.
Right.
The heartland manufacturing in the Midwest of the United States that caused a boom in engineering and development, kind of like to where we are now. That like as far as automobile manufacturing, it is so set in stone, and we've derived so many engineering principles from it that just last week at work, we were doing an exercise in determining risk, and you literally use a tool that was essentially made by Ford for determining risk in the manufacturing line of automobiles. So
it's that ingrained.
It's that ingrained. So seeing this movie open up likely in Detroit at a Chrysler factory, this car rolling on the line, the first time we've seen car manufacturing with the people under the car putting the oil into it was it was scratching the itch, I think, for the first time that I was waiting for.
Kind of like a garage scene, but more primitive.
An advanced,
it's like the beginning of 2001 Space Odyssey, but for a garage scene.
Yeah, some might say that's what a garage scene is. Yeah, no, I mean, that's interesting. Like, this touches, like you said, dadcore, Jace. I mean, you get like this old rock and roll song. You've got a garage scene. You've got a bunch of dudes working on a car. Trevor, are you familiar with the genre of dadcore?
I think through context clues, I understand what a dadcore would entail. Yeah.
Yes. Did this movie feel like dadcore to you? I think it's an edge case.
I think definitely this opening scene did. Absolutely. As far as the rest of it, I don't think I would call the rest of the movie dadcore. Yeah,
I agree. And because I think initially I was like, dads are gonna love this. But then as it kind of went on, I think there's just too much going on. I think there's some wicked shit here.
Stephen King is not really dadcore. Stephen King is kind of high school oriented with, you know, the popular kid versus nerdy kid dynamic with bullies, with the overbearing parents. And that's usually not the dadcore vibe. Dadcore is more of like independent men, post high school, out in the world, just doing the things that they want to do, and nobody can get you. Yeah, nobody can make you abide by the system, man. And this doesn't really hit the same story beats.
Yeah. I mean, you talked about Stephen King. Stephen King feels like true Americana to me too. Like, I think all of his stuff are very like growing up in mid-20th century, but I love the whole tropes in all his movies. The bullies are so fucking over the top, aggressively pathetic. The nerds and the bullies are like sadistic. All the bullies have a knife and they're gonna murder somebody, and it's like fucking insane. The adults are absolute idiots. Like, the kids are the only ones who have emotional depth, and the adults are like, oh, I don't know, it looks like a ghost card. Like, they have no idea what's happening. And it makes the kids feel like helpless, and they have to help themselves in the situation. Like, I love that shit in Stephen King. You get the same shit.
That's what it is about, you know, especially because they're not high schoolers at that point either. And the story beats in it is that when they go to the parents, it's revealed that the parents know. Like, they know that this happens to the kids in this town. That's kind of the way it reminded me of in this movie, except for Arnie's parents, the main character. But whenever they would go get help, people are just like, it's cars, man. Even the cop was kind of like suspicious, and he's like, weird stuff can happen in cars.
Yeah, what was with that cop, dude? Like, does he believe in ghosts? Like
that.
It's very like a proto Fox Mulder.
Not to jump to the end, but his comments of just like, that's just the way it is. You know, like, what?
Yeah. The body count was like 12 at that point, and they had to kill their friend. And the cop was like, you guys are heroes, you know?
Well, on to the next town.
Yeah,
I'm going to Detroit. We got reports of a werewolf car.
Oh, shit. It was bit by a wolf.
Was he FBI? Like, what was he?
He said
state police.
He just state police. All right.
It felt very X-Files like, right?
Yeah.
Like, it felt very Men in Black.
I don't know, man. I'm bored. You know, car murder is...
They told me there was a murderous car, and I was like, fuck yeah, put me on that.
I bought a badge from the costume store, and I like to go up in a Weird Out Teens. Can we jump to the Harbinger scene, where you got the classic old guy being like, oh, a bunch of weird stuff happens in this town. But he's selling the car. And immediately you realize this guy's fucking nuts. Like, he's got like this really... It's like a back brace, right?
Yeah.
Like, it looks interesting for his character. He's like really like sunken in looking. And my first thought was like, he's the devil. Like, I thought he was supposed to be a manifestation of like a demon or something. Because he kind of entices the kid. Where he's like, oh, this is a good car. I'll sell it to you for $250. And it got me thinking. They were talking about like, oh, don't spend your whole college fund on this car. $250. And I looked up the tuition for 1978. It was $688. And adjusted for inflation, that's about $3,200.
I hate that.
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
Tuition, not the car. Sorry. Tuition is $3,200. What's 250? It's like $1,500?
It's like $1,500, but still a used car for $1,500. They're like, that's so expensive. You could get a really sweet ride for that money. And now, like, looking at the used car market, it's like $10,000.
I want to step back into the Harbinger discussion.
Because
what were your preconceptions of that character, and how did it map out against the actual character arc? Because in my mind, this was pretty classic. This was pretty classic Friday the 13th sort of Harbinger stuff, where there's a crazy guy in town and everybody says, don't listen to Crazy Eddie. Crazy Eddie's wacko. And Crazy Eddie's like, there's a guy, his name's Tristan Voorhees, and he lives in the lake, and if you go up there, don't open the camp because he'll come out and he'll kill you all. And everybody's like, ow, Crazy Eddie. And then Crazy Eddie shows up at the camp, and he's like, guys, if you want, you can leave right now, and nobody's dead yet, and Jason won't get you, but you gotta go right now. And they're like, get out of here, Crazy Eddie. And that was kind of the same story beat, because even the guy who was selling the car was like, you're not as smart as you look. You don't know everything about how the world works.
There's ghosts are real, and they can go into cars.
It was a little more reined in than, it was kind of a John Carpenter version of that, but like, I really liked that they didn't harp on this trope. They didn't make him out to be a dumb hillbilly.
Yeah.
Did it seem like to you guys that he was trying to get rid of the car, or that it was that he was very like passive on it, like, give me money for it, you can have it. Right. I don't really want it, but I'll take money.
I think part of the idea with these movies is that there has to be some sort of decision that puts you in harm's way. And that was the difference between why like Halloween was so scary, was because the baby, it was originally going to be called like the Babysitter Murders.
That's so dumb.
They didn't do anything wrong. They're just chilling and Michael Myers is just slaying. But this is more traditional slasher where the main characters in the intro, they make a poor decision and it has to be free will, because they get, if they're tricked into doing something, or like, you know, they're under duress or fraud brought in to do something that later results in them dying, you feel like it's kind of unfair.
I think
it's kind of villain-esque.
That's interesting, because I get that second portion of what you just said for this movie. It feels very much like, and I don't know anything about the book, that it's Arnie, right?
Yeah.
That Arnie was also a victim of this car's powers, and he did make a decision to buy the car, but the erratic behavior that like even at the outset caused him to say, stop, go back, I need to look at her.
Yeah.
And
immediately
it's like, oh, there are otherworldly powers. At the end of the movie, you're left like thinking back to the start, and you're thinking, oh, there were otherworldly powers of this vehicle at the very outset that caused him to, you know, change his entire character. So
that's interesting.
I agree, Jace.
I didn't take it that way. I more thought like he is not comfortable being himself. He wants to be cool. He wants to be popular. He is rebelling against his parents, maybe rightfully so, but he is. He's going against their wishes, and he's doing this thing that even his best friend is saying this, like, don't do this. And so I do now understand that he might have been under the influence of some power, but
in D&D we call that a thrall.
Right.
The car had a thrall over him. That's what I thought almost immediately, because even at the beginning when they're in the car talking about Arnie, you know, getting with someone, he was just like, you know, whatever, that's not going to happen. But then after the car, his attitude totally changed, and that's why I feel like it was more of a thrall than him just choosing to rebel. But I didn't even think about it that way, where it was him doing that because he had a car all of a sudden, which is interesting.
I think it could be both, like taking advantage of his insecurity. It does say in the official synopsis that the car is changing his personality.
Well,
like, he begins to take on features.
And his eyesight.
I think he becomes like,
Oh, that's a good
it's
point.
like a Gollum situation.
That's like a Spider-Man thing.
Yeah. I'll fix your medical problems.
1983 LASIK.
Yeah. But I feel like if this movie had gone on, he would start slowly looking like Gollum and wearing a loincloth. Being like, ah!
Yeah, I wanted that. I thought as part of, and again, maybe in the book, I thought as part of the theme of this movie and the odometer running in reverse, we were getting like a consumption thing. The vehicle is taking from Arnie, and I would almost like to see, you know, if the car wasn't destroyed, more of a prequel sequel to this, where the owners are kind of like drained of their human life force, and that's what keeps this car rebuilding itself.
It's like his soul is leaving, but his body stays cool.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Can we focus on that odometer moment just for a second?
Yeah.
Because like I didn't see it as going backwards. I thought it hit its maximum and just reset back to zero. Because even Dennis made a comment early on where he was just like, it's already got 93,000 miles, probably 193. But it was like in the moment where like the car was being defeated also, kind of. It still kind of had a little bit of gasping air left, but like it was interesting. Like I don't know what that moment was supposed to mean, but it felt like it was, the movie was trying to make it very visibly important to what was happening.
This was just so car. Like there was a car metaphor for everything, right? Like, you know, the headlights going down, right?
I love the headlights in this.
And then the odometer, I thought at first it was going to be like, oh, it's going backwards because it's getting more life the more that Arnie drains or something like that. But I agree, it was a little confusing. I think maybe they just shot a bunch of B-roll of the odometer and they were like, let's just throw that in there.
It looks awesome. It looks beautiful.
It's a cool looking dash.
I love the green light that comes on. I love like when someone's driving and you just see these headlights go boom and you're like, oh fuck!
Apparently it was airplane landing lights.
Yeah,
that they retrofitted, and they had a special battery for them and everything. That's like pretty cool. Can we talk about the John Carpenter-ness of this, and that meaning like the practical effects, the special effects, but there are no CGI, of course, but also no like green screen, rotoscoping, or nothing like that. Did you guys have a favorite practical effect?
I mean, the car regeneration scene was so crisp. Like it didn't even look, I was expecting like a stop motion effect, but it was just like, I mean, I read about how they did it with like the balloons and kind of the inflating thing, but like it looked so smooth. Like I was like, that car is regenerating itself. There's no effects here.
I like when the car was smashing in between that first major kill.
Yeah.
Was smashing into the little alleyway.
Did you?
That was cool.
They used a rubber bumper and they had a bulldozer push the car into the alleyway. They used, I think they used like 20. They said they used 27 vehicles for this one.
Fuck those cars up, man.
I really liked that scene because it was like the car kind of like, it reminded me of like someone in a cave who's like almost like stuck, but it's like you keep maybe an animal's like biting at your heels or something like that, so you keep going in further and further, and it's like you're getting all scratched up, and like it felt like that person was really trapped, and that was really interesting. My favorite special effect by far, and this is maybe a little bit of like a recency bias, but one of my new favorite kills ever, and I'm a slasher guy.
Okay.
Is the on fire kill.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was so sick. That was so sick.
And it literally got like a gasp out of us because I had already turned to Julie and said, like, the special effects on the scene, because the car crashes into the gas station and like fucking explodes. And but then the car, one of the bullies survives. So it is on fire, literally engulfed in real flames, not CGI or anything, real flames, and it's driving down the road, tracking this guy down. The guy's like slowing down because he's running down the road, like away from this car, and the car's like stalking him down, and it's on fire, and it's shot really well, and all this stuff, and then it just, boom, obliterates him, and it just leaves like this husk of a corpse, like on fire, and it looked really realistic.
Yeah, it was nuts. Like, I mean, they said they had a guy literally in a fireman's outfit inside the car while it was on fire because he was actually driving it while it was burning. It looked so on fire. It came out of that building like a bat out of hell. Like this looked like a demon coming out.
So cool.
And they
that was one of my
smashed
favorite
that
shots.
Camaro. Yeah. Oh man, that Camaro, if it was like nowadays, would have been worth the budget of this movie.
Yeah. To backtrack a little bit, this movie kind of goes around the jock character. I'm forgetting his name. Was it Dennis?
Dennis.
Was that Dennis? Yeah, Dennis and Leigh, who is kind of Arnie's new girlfriend. They're starting to like notice Arnie changing. Dennis has like a horrible football injury because he gets like distracted seeing Arnie with his like cool new car and everything. I don't know. I kind of liked their relationship. Like, I was surprised by the acting in this movie. I thought it was going to be more of like a shtick. 70s, 80s movies, they kind of have a different style. It was kind of naturalistic. Like Arnie's scenes with Dennis, it seemed like they were actually friends, and the way they react with each other, I'm like, this is actually not bad. I actually really appreciated them in this movie.
Their friendship, especially at the beginning, their conversations were very believable and naturalistic.
It reminded me of Superbad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It reminded me of 20 years later, even 25 years later, Jonah Hill and Michael Cera sitting in the car, giving like weird talks about girls and sex and stuff. So that was pretty cool because it's pretty timeless. 78 was when my dad graduated high school.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I also liked too the jock did not have like a parasitic relationship with the nerd character. Like I feel like it would have been easy to go there. Like he feels bad for him, so he hangs out. But it seems like they like each other.
Yeah, they're bros.
Like they're actually friends, which I think is more realistic too.
Yeah.
There's a scene in here where Leigh realizes the car is evil because she like starts choking in the car, which I thought was kind of like nuts. She eats a sandwich and the car is like, choke on the sandwich. Like it did something. And all these lights, these amazing like spotlights turn on, and she's like, ah! And then I love how the car plays a song, and it says like it's like the car's dialogue, where it's like, I'm gonna get you, and then the guy's like, I can't get it open, and she's like dying from this sandwich, and I was like horrified.
I love that scene. I thought something more was going to come from it because there was only one other vehicle at the movies. Mind you, it was because I think it was raining. But I thought we were going to get some evolution. I thought the person in the car next to them was a dude who knew about this evil car and was there, saw her choking, and then saved her. And I thought we were going to get I've been tracking this vehicle because I know it murdered.
Now.
And it's like kind of a cop-out because they just needed somebody to save her. So there was one other vehicle. in the lot.
Who was that guy? Because he was like watching them.
Yeah.
Even before she started choking. It was really weird.
That's why. And
okay. So you're a single guy in your late 30s, early 40s, in the 70s, and you pull up to a drive-in theater when there's only one other car there, and it's a couple, and they're making out, like a high school couple. We know what he's there for.
He's a hero. He saved a life. That scene too. The guy, he must have been like, that must have been a really dry sandwich or something. Like, why? Like he's opening, like he couldn't get the doors open. All this evil shit is happening, and he's like, oh, it's a fucking crazy car, crazy sandwich. Anyways, I'm gonna go home. Like there wasn't any like recognition about how nuts that sequence was. And I like Lee's just, it seems like she was getting gaslit by everything around her, where she was like, that was crazy, right? And then Arnie was just like, no, it's fine. I don't know. It's a car. I love my car. And you kind of feel trapped in that scenario too. I don't know. I just like these scenes. I like all these kill scenes. The bully track down scene, which you know is going to come.
Yeah.
When the
so
bullies
can we talk about the bullies?
Yeah.
So early in this movie, there's a scene where the bullies trap Arnie and are kind of like fucking with him and threatening him and stuff. And then Dennis shows up and try to break it up, and it turns into this huge escalation like we all knew it was going to. And the rest of the movie is the bullies kind of trying to like get him for getting him in trouble at school for beating the kids up. It's kind of a classic scenario. And then halfway through the movie, the bullies show up to the garage where Christine is parked. And they wallop on it. They break the windshields. They, smash the carburetors, everything. They slash the seats and the dashboard and everything. The car is totaled, right? And then this is when we get the magic garage scene after this. But during this scene, afterwards, it's revealed that one of the bullies took a shit on the dashboard.
It wipes off.
But the car is fixed in the magic scene where everything goes back into place. What happened to the poop?
It's inside the car.
It's inside. It turns into fuel.
It just goes whoof out the window. Some bullies like walking down the street like da 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 da, like ah. Goes back into place.
So you're suggesting, yeah? I mean,
just
the shit had to go somewhere. Yeah, shit goes right back.
Everything went back into its place.
According to Arnie, wipes off.
If I took a shit in somebody's car, and then later that day I see a shit flying at me like a bullet and go right back up my ass, I would then not fuck with that car ever again. I would leave town. I would change my name. Like I would know something is at play here that I don't understand. I would not stay around and continue to be a shithead.
Yeah. Or if I saw that car fixed, I'd start looking over my shoulder.
Yeah, man. Did you notice that lead actor, the lead bully? When he jumped down onto the hood of the car, he almost ate shit so hard. He like slipped on the hood and he was like fine. But I'm like, he could have just cracked his head on the concrete. I'm sure like the crew members were like, oh fuck, oh my god. That was a great scene. We talked about the track down, the flame scenes. Let's skip ahead a little bit.
We skipped something.
What did we skip?
The bully's vicious dick grabbing technique.
What was the ball grab? We've seen the ball grab before. Yeah.
There were two very like zoomed in, fully clothed dick grabs in this movie.
Why'd they zoom in? They're
OTP.
like, here's his. Yeah. Like, I mean, granted, extremely effective technique.
Yes, it happens quite a bit with street fights and stuff. People grab on and they latch.
It's just weird for a group that's committing to being so masculine. Like his first move is a throat grab, ball grab.
There's nothing more masculine than
it was a grab. It wasn't a punch.
Yeah.
Well, and didn't he ask like, "How do you like that?" Like right after he did it.
Do you want me to
he
say
said something
yes?
along those lines?
I did a lot.
I mean, I feel like now there's an unspoken thing when a street fight. You're like, we're not gonna grab the balls. Like that's kind of just that's too dirty. Let's just hit each other in the head like cavemen. But like we saw of the ball grab too in one of the Sean William Scott movies where he just grabs someone by the nuts and is like, "You're gonna listen to me, pal." I've never that hasn't been introduced into my fight lexicon. Like I think it's been erased from in this like really civilized times we live in. But now I'm like, that would be pretty effective. I think that's a real showstopper. All right, if someone gets a hold of the old twig and berries.
I'm afraid to fight a 50-year-old.
Yeah. I mean, that was something my dad would tell me if a stranger ever tried to take me away. He said, rip his balls off with your teeth like a wild animal. What? And he told that to me when I was like 9. And he's like, be prepared to do it. I know like you don't think you should do it, but you need to be as vicious as possible. Like my dad's like a military man, and he speaks like, and I had this like complex.
Yeah, this is
in my
very
brain.
your dad.
Anyways, moving on.
Wait, Trevor, is there anything you want to talk about?
Any balls stuff you want to talk about?
So no, actually, with the chase scenes, the car that's used is fully tinted windows and windshield. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yes.
Do we think Arnie's been in the car every time? Because he was in the last scene.
Right.
That was a great reveal.
When it goes back after the fire scene, the door is opened by the owner of the mechanic shop, and no one's in there. Mm-hmm. But he's there in the final scene. So was Arnie in every single one, or just that final bit?
This was a debate we were having as the movie was going on, and this is why I think it was actually an effective movie, an effective horror movie, is that I don't know, but my guess is that as he got more corrupted, he was more on board with the car doing stuff. But at the beginning, it's just the car. I think that's kind of a really cool detail, because we literally exclaimed to the television when it was revealed that Arnie was in it during the final scene. I didn't think he was. Yeah. He's got the Batman makeup on.
Gollum. He's looking like Gollum. Mm-hmm. I want to see him full transformation. Ryan, I agree. Like I thought it was just the car in the beginning. I liked that it was ambiguous. And then towards the end, he's like, I'm full killing mode. And then he's in the car, and they're combined. They're one being at that point.
I liked that. It made more sense than like the amnesia thing, because when he kills the shop owner, which is an amazing character, by the way, the shop owner was like
Darnell
my
was so
favorite
funny.
Character. Like, he really chewed that scene up.
He was great. It
would make more sense than from then, because at that point we were kind of wondering, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm glad they had that scene in, because then the whole time a lot of people might have come away with thinking, oh yeah, he's in there every single time. Right. So I think it's a really cool question, and I like the way they handle it.
I did too. And I really liked Arnie's speech about love that he gives, like right before the final scene. He's in the car when he's talking about how much the love eats at him, but if he feeds it, it makes him feel more powerful. That whole speech when he's giving that to Dennis, and he's like speeding up in the car, and Dennis is like, oh fuck, I should not have gotten in the car. I think that was great, and I think it's a perfect encapsulation of like his relationship with the car. It's just like this parasitic, symbiotic thing, and he's being consumed by it completely. It's a tragic story, because I really thought and hoped that you would get a point where Arnie turns back. You destroy the car, and he's like, oh, what happened? Mm-hmm. Oh, where's my glasses? Like,
I think that's the difference between Stephen King and like a normal Hollywood studio writing this movie.
Right, because he dies. He fucking dies.
He gets ripped.
He flies out of the car.
Did he die in the book though?
I don't know if he did.
He dies almost kind of like anticlimactically too.
Yes,
because the car just kind of like runs into a thing and he flies out and he's done.
Yeah,
that was my biggest complaint about this entire movie, is that Arnie's death wasn't made to be as big of a deal emotionally as the car's death, when really the characters cared about Arnie. And so let's talk about the end scene, and let's go to our meters.
Yeah,
in the end scene, they lure the car to the shop. We have a plan that involves a bulldozer and some bulldozing. We're not exactly sure what else is part of the plan. And eventually it's revealed that, Arnie is there already, and he's going to try and mess up the plan. Well, most of the scene happens after Arnie is killed, and the car's by itself, and it keeps reforming. What did you guys think about that final fight scene? And did it feel like a person against car, or did it feel like person against villain?
Yeah, it felt like they're fighting a wild animal, honestly. The way Christine was acting, it was whipping around. It seemed like they were trying to excise it, like a demon. Kind of like the kids fighting it at the end of It. It was also, just if I could add this note, kind of a long and kind of awkward sequence with the bulldozer where it was slowly trying to just go over it in a really funny way. How did you guys feel about it?
Same. I think if I had any break from realism, much like with a teenage slasher movie where you think, why are you doing that? That's kind of stupid. It came during the chase scenes and during the scenes. Like, there's a limitation of the movement and the movability of a vehicle.
Yeah.
Like, she did the girlfriend did the right thing, and she climbed vertically. It's like, it's a car. It can't jump. And beyond.
Boy, isn't that a hack?
Yeah.
Just go up.
Third dimension.
beyond that, in agreeing that Arnie's death was a little kind of suspect and underwhelming, I was kind of left wanting in the final fight scene.
I think, yeah. Go ahead, Trevor.
I think it was interesting that they did kill off Arnie, and then the car was still just as vicious, and I think that told something to Dennis and Lee in that moment, like, oh, it's not Arnie, it's the car 100%. Like, this confirms everything. Because even right before that, Dennis scratches a note into the hood of the car, and if he thought the car was going to retaliate, he probably wouldn't have done that, right?
Right.
In that moment.
Well, he said something about, like, Christine will show up.
Oh, yeah. He did say that. Yeah, You're right.
So my thoughts were a little ambiguous. I was like, I wonder what he means by that. Because, like, nobody had witnessed it being sentient, right?
Yeah. And that's why I thought that scene was important, of Arnie not being in the picture anymore.
Yeah.
But the one thing where I was, like, a little disappointed is when they had, like, stabbed it, right? They had stabbed the car with the bulldozer, and it started reforming after Lee had gotten back in the bulldozer with Dennis. And they were like, oh, shit, we're not done. And it started, like, ballooning back up. I thought it was going to do some cool, like, maneuver where it was going to use, like, the ballooning up to, like, flip the bulldozer or something.
Oh, yeah.
So they'd have to figure something else out.
Too expensive.
They ended up just running it over. And
Too expensive.
All right. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was hoping for something like that too. It was kind of anticlimactic, and they just run it over. And I love just the flash of, like, run it over, and then it becomes a cube, and it just falls on the ground.
Yeah,
it was a great cut.
I did like the trope though of, and they did this with Arnie as well. When you think the bad guy's dead, and he gets one last, and that's kind of, I think, what they were doing with the bulldozer scene. It takes a long time to bulldoze a car over, and it's not really that fun to watch after you're like, oh, that car's getting bulldozed. You're like,
right?
Oh, okay, it's gonna take 15 more seconds.
That actually reminds me, I think, one of, beyond the hydraulics in reversed footage for the car fixing itself, the practical effect of making the car look like it had a vicious mouth.
Yes.
After hitting the bulldozer was sick. That was
that was
favorite
pretty
of mine.
Cool.
Yeah.
This movie's cool, guys.
Can we go into our
Let's do
readers?
it. I'm so sorry, Trevor. We're taking so long. I'm keeping you captive
I'm having a great
all
time.
morning. Yeah.
I'm having a great time.
Great. So our next section is the meters. We're going to start with the accelerometer. All right, we've been using this to decide how car is this movie. Does it have a car? Is it about cars? I guess I'll go first because I picked this movie. Yeah, guys, I think this is a car movie, okay? The car is in almost every scene. The main character is arguably the car. All the convos revolve around the car, and there's extended sequences of driving and talking about what it feels like to be in the car. Like, it takes place literally in LA, like a fucking car city. It had a garage scene, which is so important, I think. It opens and closes with a shot of the car. There's no final race. We've been kind of judging car movies based on, like, a final race, but the finale is literally an extended fight with a car. I don't think other movies do this, so I think that counts. I feel like there's more car in this, arguably, than Fast and Furious. Like, there's no scene without Christine in it, really. Like, this movie's obsessed with cars, and it makes me want to drive in one. Makes me feel that yearning of 70s youth to reach out with a sense of freedom on the open road. I don't feel that ever. So, folks, I'm surprised to say this is a 10 for me. I think this hits it.
Yeah.
You shouldn't go beyond this. You should not go beyond this car.
Only positive additions. Beyond all else, I think actual horniness for a car could
you are one scene away.
I think this engine, I think we might have blown at 10,000 RPMs and shot up into 11 or 12,000 RPMs, if I'm being honest. I know the scales don't work that way, but I think
you can give it 11.
An interesting thing here that we didn't know up until this point is there was a really fun shot in the beginning scene with the side view mirror. And I think that when we have these car movies, and when I was pitching movies with like famous cars, I want to see the vehicle be used in an artistic way. And we got that with this very specific vehicle being manufactured in the beginning, in a really cool shot where one of the mechanics was like in the side view mirror, and you get a sense of evil about this vehicle. Yeah. not at the finale. There was a crazy car chase. They destroyed 27 cars for the film. You can't really. It's a 10. It's a 10.
It's a 10. Trevor, do you want to go next for the car meter? Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, I'll just say it up front. Yeah, it's 100% a car movie. Like if I didn't know the car genre existed, or I didn't know the car genre existed, but if I watched this movie, I'd be like, they need to make a genre of this and call it car genre. Because it definitely was that. I think I saw somewhere that like 15% of the movie's budget was just cars, which is wild to me.
Yeah.
It's just, definitely a car movie.
Yeah. What would you, out of 1 to 10,000 RPMs, what would you give this on the car movie scale? Like, how car movie was it?
Oh, 10,000 RPMs.
10,000 RPMs. We made it,
10,000
folks.
RPMs. Especially since it clearly inspired future movies. The whole communicating through song thing was used in Michael Bay's famous Transformers.
Masterpiece. Yeah. It set trends. Ryan, what do you think?
So I didn't think you guys were going to go that high. And I hate to blow up a rare...
All right.
A quad 10?
But think about this. We've already had 2 10 out of 10 car movies. And there's something missing here. Like, don't get me wrong. This movie is great. And I'm probably going to surprise you with my other ratings. But, like, I am a slasher fan. Everybody knows this. I'm a slash head. And I've already watched about 12 horror movies this fall. And it's early September. So, this was more a horror movie than a car movie. You could show this to someone who wasn't a car head, and they would like it. That's not what car movies do to me. If I show, Fast and the Furious to someone who doesn't give a shit about racing cars, they're going to be like, nah, take it or leave it. And that's not because of the content. It's because it's about fucking cars. Not literally like this movie. But the idea is that someone who was super into, like, I'm a car guy. I like working on cars. I like racing cars. I like knowing about horsepowers. That's not what this movie is about when it's about a car. The car is brought in here as a villain. It's brought in as a love interest. It might be a love letter to cars, and it might be about like Americana, but I don't think this is as much as we thought car movie would be like. And the fact that it caught me by surprise about how car it was kind of lets me know there can be multiple types of car movies, but it's not what I thought a car movie was going to be like. So that's maybe where my meter is going to be a little different. I want to think about like not how car was this movie, but like how car movie, how did it fit my preconceived notions before I started this season? And so in that context, I'm going to give it an 8 because the car volume is very high. The car quality is very high. But like, think about this. There's no NOS button.
Button.
There's a named car. It's also the name of the movie. So that's
they weren't
huge.
using NOS back then.
Well, exactly. They better.
They should have.
No, I literally think it wasn't a manufactured thing to use nitrous oxide to boost.
Well, too bad.
Superpowered ghost energy.
Yeah.
They could have had a button. Yeah, exactly. They could have had a ghost button.
They could have made it set in a different time. That's like you can't have a caveman movie that it's a car movie.
Right. And I think the final standoff was more final fight with like Jason Voorhees than it was final race. So those are my 2 docs. So I'm gonna give it an 8. But hey, still supercar movie. I'm happy you guys are giving it 10s. No worries.
Okay, that's fair, Ryan. That's fair. It's kind of about like, will car people like this movie? I don't think I want to see more car version of this movie.
I think I might agree with you. I agree with everything you guys said.
I don't think I would want to see that movie.
I just came up with my rubric before this season started.
No, that's good. All right, movie meters. This is about what we actually think about this dang movie. All right, separate from how car it is. Thank God. Okay, now we can talk about the nuts and bolts of this thing. So for me going in, I thought this was gonna be, to quote the movie, a shitter. I saw the front cover. I saw the trailer. I was just kind of like, okay, this is gonna be like kind of a not so good movie. This was recommended to me by a friend as kind of like a fun watch. But I know Stephen King movies, oh boy, they can go up or down. But like, I was so surprised by how much I enjoyed this movie, even from like the get-go, how stylized it was. Much like a vintage car, I think the quirks are part of the experience. It's not a perfect movie, but like, I don't want to fix it. I think there's so much that works here. I will say, later when I was driving in a car, I kind of felt like a weird, like a weird energy that I was bringing to the driving experience after seeing this movie. But I think the director got like really good performances from the actors here, which surprised me. There's a lot of super memorable scenes. I'm glad I watched this. Like, this might be good for like a rewatch even. Like this, I think it's a super fun movie. I'm gonna give it an 8. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, 8 out of 8 wheels out of 10. I guess.
I think I'm floundering a little bit with my ability to choose a score, because this, like, out of left field was a very enjoyable movie. I enjoyed the acting. I enjoyed the screenplay. The concept was wacky. It was just fantastic in that regard. I think it was left dragging a little bit. We have an hour and 50-minute screen time, and there's a lot to cover. So maybe that is fine for what they were trying to do, but it definitely dragged in some times for me. I really liked Arnie's possession and how the actor went from being straight nerdy to just vicious, kind of crazy person at the end. And like, I don't know if that is this movie campy? Is that an okay thing to say about this movie?
I think it touches on camp.
It can get pretty close.
Yeah.
I think slasher genre as a whole has to have a little camp to be good in the first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So I'm thinking, I don't think for me, a good point, Denali, on rewatchability. I don't know that the movie has rewatchability for me. I think there are some things that I would change to be a bit more effective. But then I think about the salt of the earth extras in this movie, like the guy who sold the car and the guy who owns the garage, and how absolutely wild it was for him to be like, yeah, you keep that piece of crap out of here. Do you ever run that again, you'll kick me. And man, they put a lot of care into this. I guess maybe to expect from John Carpenter. I'll give it an 8.
An 8?
I'll give it an 8.
That's a good score. Jace loves this movie. Trevor, what do you think about this movie?
Man, so I think I don't watch a ton of movies. And when I watch movies with other people, like sit down and like that's the event I'm doing, it's been for what we call bad movie night. And so we get a lot of these movies that we watch the trailers for and you're like, oh, this is going to be awful. This is going to be campy. This is going to have weird effects, weird dialogue. And then sometimes they surprise you. And I went into this seeing it was an older film, and I saw some, just looking at the screenshots, whatever, before I hit rent, a lot of telltale signs of like, oh, this is something I could put on for bad movie night, probably. And I think like Jace, I was like very surprised at how much I enjoyed it as a whole. And I really think these beginning scenes really laying out the relationship that Arnie and Dennis have and kind of their relationship with their community, their high school, whatever it is, really, really set that groundwork really well for the rest of the movie to be, it kind of centered around relationships and what fractures that, whether it's a car that has a thrall over someone or not. I think the fact that it was a car slasher film that had a lot more in it. Like I made a note in here. I was like, okay, which is the B plot here? Because it went back and forth between Arnie and Dennis and the car in a way that was like, oh, it spread out the focus in a very equal way. And that was something that was very interesting to me, very effective to me. So, I mean, I would definitely rewatch this. I got a couple of family members who are of older generations who I think would love this and are really into cars. And I bet if I put this on, they would love every second of it. So as far as a rating goes, I mean, gosh, I'm really generous because if I have a good experience, I give it a full thumbs up. So I'm going to say 10 out of 10. I love this movie.
Wow. All right.
We actually get that quite a bit from guests who have more of a pass-fail system.
Sure. Yeah.
And they say like, so if I like it, it's a 10.
Yeah.
And so that's a 100% valid way of doing it. Yeah, Roger and Ebert made a whole career off of it.
Yeah. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes is also a binary system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we're just like cynical, critical bastards, and we're just like, well, it's not a 6. I think it's a 7. Great. Ryan, what do you think about this?
Yeah, so I'm 100% on board. Everybody knows my favorite movie is a John Carpenter movie. It's The Thing, and Halloween is like one of my favorite slashers for quality wise. It's interesting then to put on a John Carpenter and be shocked at how much you like it, because there are some bad John Carpenter movies too. Something about this vibe was just like, okay, it's the first day, it's 70 something degrees out this year. It's, we're watching it at night. We had to wait before we started watching it to get more comfortable. We're like, we're not comfy enough. And so then we made sure to give it its shot. I absolutely love this movie. I was shocked right from the get-go. I was texting you guys a little bit of my play-by-play. I was started out getting real stoked. And I'm also a huge Twin Peaks fan. It's my favorite series. And this was very David Lynchian in kind of the unexplained nature of things. And I can't quite imagine a more enjoyable car movie for me. There are things, like I agree with Jace, the pacing and the timeline is a little bit hard. I was surprised that when I clicked it, it said hour 45 when the credits were rolling. I wish it was maybe an hour 35, hour 40. So they could have had some montage action going on. Since I'm also a huge slasher fan, I actually think the kills could have been more gory. I think a lot of the time they didn't have enough gore. And I read about that too in the trivia. Someone said like they purposefully added F-bombs to give them a worse rating so that they would be considered a horror movie. I thought the cinematography was absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. You could tell that a lot of the stuff was filmed like at night, and it's hard to get good lighting on film at night. And you could tell that they had the lenses wide open. And man, when two characters are standing slightly different distances from the camera, those wide open lenses don't put everything in focus. So there was some grainy, old school film aspects to this. And I'm not quite sure if I had the real aspect ratio, because this was shot in anamorphic and I have no clue why I took up my whole TV screen. So I'm wondering if it actually looks even better than I thought it looked. I'm going to give this movie a 9.
Woo!
Because it's now at the top of like my favorite quasi-slasher movies. Wow. And I just wish it was a little bit scarier. And then those couple things I pointed out about maybe the pacing a little bit. I thought I'm 100% serious when the car on fire scene is now one of my favorite kill scenes ever.
Yeah, that's so sick. Yeah, I mean, right, I'm so surprised because like I had a bit of trepidation last episode pitching this. I was like, well, guys, here we go. We watched a bad movie. Time for a worse movie. But now I'm like, wow, we actually all like enjoyed this movie. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by that. I'm glad you like it too. Like when I saw it was a John Carpenter, I was like, I wonder what Ryan will think about this. But yeah, there you have it, folks. That's our review for Christine. If you've seen it, let us know what you think about it. Let us know what you think about our reviews. Did you like this movie? It's on Amazon, but you can do an AMC Plus membership subscription and cancel the free trial. I did that stuff. It's okay. Jeff Bezos has enough money. You can game the system if you need to. But folks, we have another movie coming next week. Trevor, thank you so much for joining us for this movie. You'll have to listen to us talk about the next movie, I guess, for a second, which is a bit of an indignity. I'm sorry for this. We should structure this better.
This is going to be quick.
I'm excited.
This is going to be quick.
Jason,
I am going to need Trevor's help, and I'm going to need Ryan or Denali to pull up the Wheel of Chaos.
Oh, Wheel of Chaos.
The Wheel of Chaos.
Oh, sweet Jesus Almighty.
This is exciting.
Jace, you want to explain?
We had not explained this on camera yet. We're having a guest for our next episode as well, for our next recording session. And I think that it would be good. I'm kind of wavering on a few picks. I think there's one that's a pretty solid choice for watching with our next guest. I think there's a completely insane movie that's of a genre. I guess not necessarily genre, but a production level that we've never seen before. And then I want to get input from Trevor about what maybe you want to throw Death Race 2000 on, or maybe you think it'd be funny to say, screw you guys, I'm going to put Cars on this wheel, or Herbie Fully Loaded, whichever one you want to have a 1/3 chance of being picked it'll be on there. It'll have its fair share. So,
oh God, so much power.
I think the first movie is gonna be Talladega Nights. We talked about that.
Great.
It's a great comedy centered around driving. Trevor? What would you like to add to the wheel?
Oh, you want me to add one now?
Yeah, I want to save the third for suspense.
So we talked about it before we started recording, but I think Herbie Fully Loaded needs to be on there.
Oh yes,
just to put a little danger. In the spin.
Can we talk about why there's a colon subtitle in that movie? Is there another Herbie movie?
Yeah,
Fully. It's like a prequel or a sequel to like the long line of Herbie movies.
Yeah. So I'm already lost, man.
Wait, you didn't know this was okay? If we do the movie, we gotta.
You're not tapped into the Herbie lore.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Herbie lore. It's from the '60s, man. I used to watch them.
I wasn't alive. I used to watch them. What?
I used to watch them. There's a shitload of them.
There are a lot of Herbie.
That's what you
movies.
did.
You can watch movies from the past. We just did it.
It is possible. We have the technology.
We have Amazon.
This next one is
I'm so fucking nervous.
I think we have to watch it on YouTube.
Oh no, this is already not a good sign.
As in, I think that might be the only location that it's found.
Oh my God.
It was produced and distributed by Baba Films.
Okay.
It was directed by Abbas Mustan. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. And it's Tarzan the Wonder Car.
What?
What? Wait. No, seriously, what? Like
Tarzan the Wonder Car, or simply Tarzan. It's a 2004 Indian Hindi language supernatural action thriller directed by Abbas Mustan. Automobile engineer Devin Chowdhury, who lives with his mother and 10-year-old son, builds a futuristic car with advanced features.
Wait, hold on. So it's called the Wonder Car? Tarzan,
Tarzan, TAARZAN, the Wonder Car.
Okay.
Why are you doing a wheel? That's the choice.
The wheel of chaos.
So good.
The wheel is sometimes about giving people information about vehicles movies that are out there.
Oh, okay, got it.
Jace, I'm seeing on that Wikipedia it says it's loosely based on the American film Christine from 1983.
Oh.
Let's do it. This will be good back to back.
Do the wheel, please do the wheel.
Okay.
Let the fates decide.
Oh God.
All right.
I don't know what I want to win. Honestly,
we've got this thing fully loaded, if you will.
Nice.
I'm gonna shuffle 3 times.
Yeah.
And then make sure the settings are set at like 10 seconds.
Yeah, the audience loves this part.
All right. I'm ready to spin. Everybody ready?
Holy shit.
Okay.
Cross your fingers. Say whatever prayers you light some candles.
Herbie fully loaded. Herbie fully loaded.
Here we go, everybody. 10 seconds.
Oh my God.
Fate's
Please
coming
protect
down.
us.
Vroom, 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 vroom.
Oh,
no. Fucking.
Oh man.
Okay. It's the Bollywood movie Tarzan the Wonder Car.
I don't even know if it's technically Bollywood. Is it?
I think Bollywood's like a region.
What?
Like it depends on where it's produced.
It might. I don't know enough about it to know what the difference is.
Oh my God. Are we doing this? Is there a way we can watch this?
I see a 2 hour. Oh my God. 2 hours and 40 minutes. Oh, jeez.
No fucking way. No.
Can you click it? Hey, click the video. Make sure it's viewable in America.
Okay, let me.
It's not in English.
Of course it's not in English.
There's no subtitles.
There aren't subtitles.
Wait, if we watch this whole thing 2 hours and 40 minutes with no subtitles?
No, it has to have subtitles, I would say. If there is no way for us to watch the movie without subtitles.
It says subtitles, closed captions, unavailable.
No, we can't do this if there's no subtitles, dude. There's no way we could fucking review this.
Hey, let's tell Michael anyways.
Oh, Michael's good. No, we can't do this to Michael. No, let's do a different movie.
Jace,
okay, well,
Jace,
We gave it
us too hard.
We gave it our shot.
We gave it
a shot.
You
gotta keep that in there. That's
okay,
hilarious.
We'll keep it in. Okay.
We're gonna make Michael watch Herbie Fully Loaded because I think.
Okay, Herbie.
I think
Hell yeah.
He had to watch Air Bud 5, Air Bud Strikes Back, and keeping him in that genre is
children's movies.
Let's just pivot to that. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Great. Tarzan, we're coming for you someday if you release ever a subtitles cut. We'd love to watch you. Great. Join us next week for Herbie Fully Loaded. We'll bring it back, Michael. Maybe listen to Air Bud 5, our episode from the dog season. It's been a few years. He's coming back. He's itching to come back and watch these movies with us. Trevor, you're welcome back anytime, dog. It was so good to have you.
Thank you.
I'm glad we finally made it happen. So if you ever like see another season or just you're like, hey, have us back on, feel free to just DM us and we'll slide you in, no problem. In the meantime, like, do you have anything you want to plug? Like, you got the microphone, you got our legions of Good Boys Gone Bland listeners.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The only thing I want to plug is I participate in Extra Life every year, and it's a charity event that helps local children's hospitals for whatever place you're in. And the one I support is Seattle Children's Hospital. This is my 10th year participating.
Awesome.
And yeah, and if anyone out there in the listening world wants to support in any way, I got links all over my socials. I'm at Captain Trevo, CAPMTREVO. On everything, on Twitch, on I was about to say Twitter, which doesn't exist anymore. But yeah, and I have links to my Extra Life page. And anything helps. Anything helps,
awesome.
And it helps save kids that need it. So good shit.
Hell yeah, I'll check that out, Trevor. That's so sick. Yeah, and with that, guys, do you have anything you guys want to
Can we give some
leave us with?
car advice?
Yeah, some car advice. Do you want to do a popcorn car advice? So we have a guest on. Okay, let's do it. So. Trevor, we do this thing where we kind of popcorn a word between all of us. Like if I started, I would say like the, and Jace might say another word.
Axel.
And then you would say another single word.
But
and
we don't
have
to
go after Jace?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
okay,
we'll just do
it.
that until we'll do maybe 2-3 rounds and we'll see.
Until car advice comes out. Like we have 4 fully formed, evolved brains. All right, millions of years of evolution. We're like a supercomputer. We can spit out some car advice. All right, fuck AI. We got organic brains. Here's some car advice to leave you folks with. Always
lube
up.
9?
9? Frozen
bearings
within
the.
I get stuck with all the fucking nouns. Glove box
before.
Assembling.
Oily.
Exhaust.
Devils.
Okay, that's kind of wrapped.
That's so abstract. Is that even a sentence?
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds like what a person would say in my dream to me. Make sure you do this.